How the heck are you people here on a Tuesday at St. John Fisher? Chris Brown, Steve Tasker with you. Day 6 of training camp. Now a memory. It happened this morning. It is now over. We'll review it in great detail with you through the course of the show today. And we've got a good one for you. We'll be hearing from Dion Dawkins a little bit later on in the show. And here on set we will have Bills General Manager Brandon Beane in hour number 2 of the program, going off on any of the details concerning the roster and what he's seen through the first 6 days of practice. Steve, the headline today, the Von Miller burst is back.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it. They ran an extensive third down period in 11-on-11 today, and Von, who had the day off yesterday, Veterans Rest Day, looked like he was getting shot out of a cannon today. Beat Spencer Brown on one for a sack. The very next play comes back, wins on a stunt as well, inside. And I got to say, for all those Bills fans that were wondering, is Von back to the old Von, today was a very, very encouraging sign.
Yes. He's got it under the hood. Can he stay healthy enough? Can he stay fresh enough throughout an 18-game schedule, 18-week schedule, 17 games, to be there at the end when they need him? We'll see. But, man, oh, man, it's as we suspected. He's got it. It's in there, and he showed it today, and we'll see if he, if they can get him through a regular season when he can contribute when they need him to, and here we go.
So I think, and we've talked about this through the course of the offseason, knowing he is an age 35 player, the best way to get the most out of him is to pace him through the season, and I fully expect them to make him a pass rush specialist. I mean, Perfect example is what we saw the last 2 days in practice. He's off yesterday. Right. Today they have a pass rush third down period, and he's out there for a lot of reps and looked really good doing it. And here's probably the most encouraging thing. He's not the only one. Today, the combo of Kingsley Jonathan and Javon Solomon was given the second and third units fits today. Absolute fits. They were all over the offensive backfield. Quarterbacks having to throw away passes, quarterbacks getting tap-out sacks, quarterbacks getting passes batted out of the air. Passing game was a mix of fits and starts because those two guys were screaming off the edges. Yeah,
they looked really good. They looked like starters going against the number 2s. I mean, they really did. They looked really, really good. They were coming off with fat explosion. And I remember, too, you go through days like this, and the offense is over there kind of getting frustrated because they can't get anything done because they can't even get the ball out of the quarterback's hands before he's on the ground. So now they don't tackle him to the ground, obviously, and stuff, but the play's blown up before you can actually develop in the backfield. And you're out there running routes. You turn around, and the play's already over. It was that kind of day for this defense. The pass rush really stood up. And Vaughn was the start of it, but those other two guys you mentioned, Kingsley Jonathan and Javon Solomon, goodness gracious. They had a really nice day. It took, a week and a couple of days of pads for the defense kind of to perk up and start to flex a little bit, and they did today. And it was good to see. I thought the defensive secondary played well as
had some pass
breakups. They were sticking to the guys, and a couple of the sacks that made the defensive front look really good. You could say, you know what, they had nobody to throw to. They were covered up, and the quarterback had to tap the ball a couple of times.
Coverage sacks.
So it was really good to see today. Having said that, your quarterback one still looks like Superman. I mean, he made some throws today. I was looking around. I was looking for Beal. Did you see that? I mean, he made a couple.
Yeah.
The dude is elite, and he he did it handful of times today. He made some throws. I was like, man. So.
And he makes them look routine. That's the scary thing.
It does not look like he's exerting himself. It was really good to see, and so this is one of those nuts and bolts days at training camp. Both sides of the ball did some really, really good things.
Yeah.
You saw the guys who you want to see shine in a day like today. They did it. You saw some things that were really encouraging, like the defensive secondary was really encouraging today. And your superstar quarterback looked like a superstar. So it was a pretty good day at training camp here.
Yeah. Players with pass breakups today, Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop, and Daquan Hardy, who had a nice pass breakup in the end zone during the 2-minute drill to foil a drive and force a field goal. We should mention there was a roster transaction today. Veteran NFL safety Kareem Jackson signed by the Bills and he was out there wearing jersey number 27, did not partake in any reps on the practice field. And we'll talk to Brandon Beane about when we can expect to see him practicing with the club, but his presence is all the more urgent now. He gets here for day one. You're already down Mike Edwards, who's got a week-to-week hamstring injury, and late in practice today, Cole Bishop leaves the field. They were checking his ribs on his back before he left. Wouldn't be surprised if there are x-rays to see if there's, God forbid, a crack or a break in there, because he was in some measure of discomfort. And we see this sometimes, Steve. You have no injuries for 4 days, and then all of a sudden they crop up and they're at the same position.
Exactly, and that's part of the, unpredictable nature of it. You're right. You get them all the same day, same position. You have a guy go down with you'll go for, and I remember Eddie Abramowski, the Hall of Fame trainer for the Bills, would say the exact same thing. We could go, he says, I'm telling you, we could go 5 years and never have a turf toe, and then all of a sudden we got 5 in one training camp.
Yeah.
It's the way it happens, and you can say it's systemic. If you can get to the bottom of why it all comes together like that at once, good luck, because you got a guy with a rib and a guy with a hamstring at the same position. It's not like it's the same injury. I don't think Cole Bishop's is probably really serious.
Well, let's hope not.
Probably not as time-consuming as Mike Edwards, but the hamstring. But nevertheless, +2.
Well, you take a helmet in your back. I mean, there's not protection down there.
Absolutely, it hurts. Now, I'm not saying the kid's not hurting. I'm just saying it's probably not time-consuming. And also, I'll say this too: when your second-round draft pick has a shaving, Nick, you're pulling him out of practice anyway. So, I
felt like he was just getting his footing.
Oh yeah,
you could see him reading it better the last couple of days.
Absolutely, and I'll say this too: Taylor Rapp has, even since pads went on yesterday and today, he is not shy about the contact. He is mixing it up inside. He is definitely jumping in with both feet into the physical side of his position, and he showed up big time, both in the back end and up in the box.
The other thing we noticed with respect to the passing game, really work in the middle of the field heavily today. A lot of seam shots, deep overs, all that stuff. They're working the middle of the field between the numbers an awful lot today, and it could just be a byproduct of who's open and who's not, but it seems as though the passing game catered to the middle of the field quite well today. Tight ends and receivers.
I think a little bit of that is a byproduct of maybe the situational football they were going through.
Yeah.
With pass rush,
third down,
third down, that kind of third and long, and pressure packages.
The other thing concerning the receiving core, Tyrell Shavers continues to get rotated in with the first unit. He's getting snaps with them. There were 2 other receivers who got a smattering of reps with the starters, namely Justin Shorter and Andy Isabella. So as this coaching staff tries to identify who is receiver 5 and who is receiver 6, we're seeing some of these guys a little bit further down in the pecking order getting some opportunities with the first group.
That's the real question. I mean, Keon's not going anywhere. It doesn't look like Mac Hollins is going anywhere. Certainly Shakir's not going anywhere, and Curtis Samuel's not going anywhere.
Yeah, so those are your top 4.
And you're going to have 6 guys, probably 7 available, whether they, practice squad, whatever. You're going to have probably 7 guys or 8 guys hanging around the building. But you've only got like 6 spots on game day. And who those other 2 guys are is going to come down to how they play kickoff, how they cover punts, return punts, how they are on the front line of the return team, and how they play their position on down and distance. I have no idea how they're shaking that out, except for, like you said, you got to kind of keep your eye on who's taking reps. Shavers is getting some reps that
he's getting more than any of the others. That's for sure.
And he seems to be doing it. I've seen him catch some ball in some situational spots today.
Did it in the 2-minute drill, got out of bounds.
Right. So he's getting his shot at being out there. And I like the way he looks when he runs. Shorter and Shavers, I mean, they're very similar, as is MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They are all very similar in their body type and the way they look, but there are subtle differences when you see them walk around when they move through their routes. And I get that Shavers just seems to me a little bit more together when he runs his routes.
A little looser athlete, I would say, than Valdez, Scantling,
and he's not
or Short.
He doesn't appear to be as high cut, although he looks like when you stand him sitting there next to each other, they look. But he doesn't run high cut, I guess is what I'm saying. But lots going on out there, and these all these guys vying for these two spots, and it's like I say, that the interesting thing is what the coaches think about what they're seeing, not what you and I are talking about.
As we mentioned, there were the first set of 2-minute drill periods in practice thus far in training camp. First unit comes out. They're only able to stage a field goal drive. They get stopped at the end. It was Taylor Rapp with a pass breakup in the end zone on 3rd down. That was 2 plays after Daquan Hardy had a pass breakup in the end zone on a pass intended for Dalton Kincaid. So they're able to foil the offense's effort to reach the end zone. They have to settle for a 31-yard field goal from Tyler Bass. Second unit comes on to run the 2-minute drill, and they did not get very far. They run out of downs. 4th down just beyond midfield with only 52 seconds left on the clock. A Mitch Trubisky pass intended for Shavers goes incomplete. It was off the mark, and that ended the drive. So the defense won that one.
Yeah, they had 4 shots. They couldn't get a first down. They might have got one early on the first couple of snaps, but then they got shut down after 1 first down outside of field goal range. That was it. Practice over, and the defense looked good doing it. It was good group out there. I thought.
Well, again, it was Jonathan and Solomon out there.
Yeah, the plays that I saw the secondary being a part of and the way they were in position. Really encouraging. They really played some really good football today in the back end of the defense.
And then the kicking game. While Tyler Bass does not have any competition here as the place kicker, he was 6 for 6 the other day when he kicked over the weekend. He was 5 of 6 today. His only miss, the 51-yarder from the left hash, his longest kick of the session, which went off to the right. So 5 of 6 today, 6 of 6 a few days ago. The other interesting thing is, as we know, Sam Martin has competition here in the form of undrafted rookie free agent Jack Browning, who is a punter. And Sam Martin, was the holder 3 days ago. Today, the holder was Jack Browning. And his operation looked to be fine. Didn't look to mess up Bass in any way, shape, or form. And obviously the snaps are pretty consistent from Reed Ferguson, so it's not like he's got a tall task in taking the ball in and getting the laces out for Bass. But I think it solidifies the fact that this is very firmly a competition. Jack Browning isn't just here to hang out and hopefully make an impression and be a backup option in the regular season. He's not only punting against Sam Martin, now he is holding too.
Yeah, that's part of the culture here for the Bills. Sean McDermott will not sign a guy and tell him something and then not give him the opportunity to prove he can do it. Or cut him without ever giving him that opportunity. So they're going to the punter has to be a guy that helps the other specialists, the long snapper and the place kicker. He's got to do that, and anything else he can think of. But that's a real competition that goes along with the punting competition. And yes, if you're asking, yes, Tyler Bass will have something to say about which one he prefers.